TII Item 449, November 30th, 2017, iOS 11.2 Beta 5.
Welcome to Today in iPhone.
I like it a lot.
Today in iPhone.
Hey, Google!
Oh, yeah.
My beautiful iPhone, which I never have out of my hand and that I do everything with and has become an extension of whom I am.
Today's show is brought to you by Eero. For free overnight shipping to the US and Canada, visit eero.com and at checkout, select overnight shipping, then enter promo code TII to make it free. Today's episode is sponsored by Texture. Go right now to texture.com/TII to get your free trial. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Rob, and you are listening to the Today in iOS podcast. First up, I want to thank Fitz for sending in the artwork for today's show. Fitz wrote the following. Hi, Rob. This is the UK Cambridge store located in Grand Arcade. Taken with my wife's iPhone 6 Plus and brought into Snapseed to manipulate and add text. Love the show and keep up the good work. Regards, Fitz Jean-Baptiste. Well, Fitz, thank you very much for sending in the artwork. And folks, you can see the artwork in the free TI app via the bonus button for episode 449 or at instagram.com/todayinios and also at facebook.com/todayinios. If you have some artwork and or music that you have created on your iOS device that you would like to share with the audience, please email it to me at todayinios@gmail.com, and please make sure to include which app or apps you use to create said artwork and or music. And we're going to start right off in the email bag. Hello, Rob. I have followed your show over the years, and I eventually have stayed put with my iPhone 6. Did not update to iOS 11 due to problems and have listened to your cautions as newer upgrades came out. Am now receiving the Apple question about upgrade now, and it is just for iOS 11. So my question is, for my iPhone 6, should I stay or should I upgrade now? Thanks again, and regards, Valerie R. Well, Valerie, thank you for the email, and here's what I would say. With the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus and the iPhone 5S, I would recommend waiting until iOS 11.2 before you update if you have not already updated. At least for my devices, I see much more snappier feel in 11.2 beta 4 and 5 than I did for past versions of iOS 11. iOS 11, the early ones in 11.1, seemed much more sluggish on those devices. So again, anything before the S series for iPhone 6S and 6S Plus, anything before that, I would hold off and wait to 11.2. 11.2 does seem to be significantly better. And speaking of iOS 11.2 Beta 5, Apple released that this week to the developers and then to the public beta testers. And it did bring some fixes and features. On the fix side, it fixes the issue with Apple's podcast app, where since iOS 11 was released, it has not or will not play episodes from oldest to newest. For example, maybe you get behind on a podcast a few episodes. You could, in iOS 10 and earlier versions, go to the oldest episode, say 3 or 4 episodes back, click play, and then when it was finished, it would advance to the next one, and then the next one until it was finally caught up. iOS 11 up until 11.2 Beta 5 did not do that. 11.2 Beta 5 finally brought back that, I don't even know if you want to call it a feature. I was just going to say it definitely brought back it to acting the way it should act. And it's nice to see they fixed that bug, because that definitely was a bug. Per the feature that was added, it is in the TV app. It now has a sports section. This is something that Apple mentioned months ago as coming. Well, now it's here. At least for beta testers, that is. It allows you to easily find live sports broadcasts for your favorite teams or sports. So go ahead, check out the TV app if you're a beta tester, and you can see that your favorite team will be in there. And like I already have done, I've added the Dayton Flyers for myself. Apple also released this week tvOS 11.2 Beta 5, and it is, well, more than just bug fixes and optimizations this time. It also gains the sports tab in the TV app, so it actually has something new. There was no update for watchOS. It is still at beta 4. Some are speculating next week will be when iOS 11.2, tvOS 11.2, and watchOS 4.2 will all go Gold Master. Some are saying it'll be on Tuesday, the 5th. We shall see. According to reports from a couple hundred iPhone users out there on different boards, users have been complaining about the word it autocorrecting to IT on iOS 11 and later. Sorry, not seeing that happen for me. I tried it on multiple devices. It is it for me, but others out there are seeing where their iPhone wants it to be IT. So far, no word from Apple on this. This follows up on the other autocorrect bug previously that was addressed. So not a good couple of months for Apple's autocorrect.
Hi Rob, it's Paul from Ireland. Just wanted to give you my experience of the iPhone 10. I updated from the 5S to the 10, so it was a big leap, and obviously I'm very pleased with the phone. But one thing I just wanted to comment on was the battery life. I noticed the first day I had it that it was pretty good, so I decided I'll try to see how long I can go without charging it. So day one, charged it overnight, then got up around 7 a.m, took it off the charge, and believe it or not, it was bedtime on day 2 that I needed to charge it again. So that's 2 full days without charging. So it was around 10:30 p.m. on day 2 at about 4% left going to bed. So that's the best battery I've ever had on any smartphone, and even rivals some of your old ordinary phones that weren't smart, that lasted for days. That was making the odd few calls, checking train times, social media, few map directions, things like that. So it wasn't that I wasn't using it at all, just not very heavy use, but still 2 days on any smartphone is great. My old iPhone 5S, I would be lucky to get a day out of it. Thanks for the show, Rob. Keep up the good work. All the best.
Well, thank you for the feedback. And yes, battery life for the iPhone 10 and the Series 3 Apple Watch are both, for me, getting over 2 full work days on a charge. The Apple Watch actually is 3 full days without a problem and not having to recharge it. So far, only one time in the month that I've had my iPhone 10 did I have to actually plug in the iPhone 10 to charge it before the end of the day came around. And I should say, the day that I actually did have to charge it before the end of the day, I was using it really, really heavy. It was a day I was traveling, and I was doing a lot of mobile hotspotting from my iPhone to use it as the internet connection for my laptop. So yeah, not surprising that day I had to recharge it. But every other day I've had the iPhone 10, I've not run out of battery life during the day, not even close. The iPhone 10 is without a doubt the best iPhone for battery life out of all 18 different iPhones that have been released. Thanks, Apple, for really knocking this one out of the park when it comes to battery life. For those of you not getting great battery life, you will want to go into settings, then battery, and look to see what app or apps are draining your battery. If you use YouTube, you may find it is a major contributor. However, Google just released an update for YouTube app that they say addresses their battery sucking ways. So again, check your battery usage, and if YouTube is showing up, it's time to update the YouTube app. But it is not just the YouTube app. Tosin O in our Google Plus community posted where the Google app was responsible for 60% of his battery usage, and it was listed as background activity even though he had not allowed it for background. Sounds like Google might be trying to track iOS users too. In any case, it's always a good idea when you see battery life draining faster than you expected it to go to the settings app, then battery, and see what is doing the sucking. Some initial reports on Black Friday weekend sales had Apple selling 6 million iPhone 10s, with the 256, the right amount of storage gigabyte version, being twice as popular as the 64, not even close to enough storage gigabyte version. That is a lot of iPhones sold for one weekend for a device that many had figured, myself included in that many, that would not be widely available until, well into Q1, possibly even Q2 of 2018. Back to the email bag. Hi, Rob. Are you still collecting data about the ordering of an iPhone 10? Well, on November 14th, I called Verizon to order the iPhone 10 for my wife and for myself. 256 gig versions for both of us. Gray for myself, silver for the wife. I was told and received email confirmation that shipment wouldn't happen until December 12th. Yesterday, I received an email on the 29th stating that my iPhone is shipped and on the way. Apparently, my wife's is not. Jealousy soon to ensue. Regards, Dave. Well, thanks, Dave, for the feedback. And if you look on the apple.com website, it appears that the lead times are now down to 1 to 2 week range. This looks to be the case not just in the US, but in many countries around the world. The multi-billion-dollar question is this an indication of much better yield or that demand had dropped? The previous report of 6 million iPhones 10s that were sold over Black Friday weekend tends to make this one lean towards better than expected yields and supply and not a reduction in demand. All of this means it looks to be possible to order an iPhone 10 now and have it available well before Christmas. Good luck, folks. And speaking of gifts, Apple TV, the 64 gig version, may be difficult to get one in time for the holidays. Right now, it looks like in most places, delivery for the Apple TV 64 gig, if you order now in late November, is not until early January. If you were planning on getting anyone an Apple TV 64 gig version for Christmas, you may have waited too long. You might just have to get them the 32 I don't care enough gigabyte version instead. I want to thank Eero again for sponsoring the show. This is a product I absolutely love and allows me to get the fastest Wi-Fi at my house with the best coverage everywhere. Eero, E-E-R-O, makes a Wi-Fi mesh network for your home. I mentioned previously how fast Eero is for me. The speed really is incredible. Thank you, Eero. No more connecting the Ethernet cord to my laptop each morning. Before I received it, I really was crossing my fingers hoping this would be half as good as they said it was going to be, but it wound up being much, much better. I am really blown away at having over 400 megabytes per second speed up and down most of the time. It literally was breaking most of the iOS apps for speed testing. Apple talks about how fast their Wi-Fi chips are. This is the first time I have been able to actually test those claims out. Kudos to Apple, to Google Fiber, and of course, Eero for unleashing all my iOS devices and my laptop. This is a second generation Eero unit, which added a third 5 gigahertz radio, and it is a mesh network just like at office buildings, but now for your home. I set up my main unit in my office, just connected it via Ethernet cable to my Google Fiber router, then went to the kitchen, plugged in the beacon unit into a standard wall outlet, set it up quickly, then set up another one in our bedroom, which is as far away from my office as possible in our house. It was about 10 to 15 minutes to set it all up. It was very easy with an app for your iOS device that lets you or me monitor all the Wi-Fi devices connected now or have been, and we are over 18 different devices showing. Yikes. And you only need to hardware connect the base unit. The beacons just plug into a wall outlet, and they even have a nightlight. And the base unit just lies nice and flat. It's very pretty, very Apple-esque. It also has a new Thread radio for low-power devices like my Ring doorbell and other Wi-Fi-enabled IoT devices. If you go to eero.com and enter promo code TII, you will get free overnight shipping in the US and Canada. Again, go to eero.com and at checkout, select overnight shipping, then enter promo code TII to make it free. This is the best Wi-Fi I have ever tested or heard of, hands down. Thanks, Eero, for unleashing all my Apple products.
Hey, Rob, it's Shannon in Arizona. Hey, I've got a quick question. I've got a buddy that I met on our Slack group and met through another buddy that has a podcast, the Trucker Dump. He already has his iPhone 10, and he bought the Series 3 Apple Watch cellular version. But I was telling him that, by the way, today's Monday, the 13th, as I record this. My iPhone 10 will be delivered this Wednesday. 15th. So not too bad. 14 days after launch day. I'm okay with that. I was telling him that I don't use my Apple Watch for Apple Pay that often, pretty much rarely or never, because if I use my Apple Watch, I don't get a notification on my watch or my phone of the amount or the store or anything like that. However, if I use my phone, I almost immediately get a notification on my phone and my watch with, of course, the store and the amount, and Wells Fargo is my bank. And I never could figure out why or how to change that. I don't think it's possible, but I thought I'd throw it out there and see. I use an app called, I think it's called Checkbook, it's like a check register that I keep really close accounting of my checking account. So typically when I get to my car is when I enter the amount. And if I use my watch, then I have to go to my bank app and look at their most recent charge that way, which is not that big of a deal, but still, it's much nicer when I use my phone. Then, of course, it has the notification right there in the notifications view. And as far as I know, that's the only way to see my most recent purchases. Anyway, if any of you, your group or you knows how to change that so I can get notifications if I use my watch, that would be awesome. Thank you much, Rob. Take care. And I'll call you back when I get my 10 and let you know my initial impressions. Later, man.
Shannon, thanks for the voicemail. And we're going to go into an email here that's similar. Hello, Rob. I love your podcast. Always looking forward to it. I admit I'm an Apple fanboy. I'm rocking the iPhone 7 Plus and Apple Watch Original, AirPods, etc. Forever, I've had trouble with the notification coming only to my watch and not sounding on my iPhone. Turning my iPhone screen on and finding 3 or 4 notifications that I had no idea had come in is very frustrating. The fix for this has been to disable wrist detection on my watch to receive the notifications on both devices. Therefore, I even get the sound on my AirPods, but I lose the ability to use Apple Pay on my watch. I don't get credited for standing up. My activity rings never get closed anymore, and my watch is unsecured without a passcode even if I take it off. Instead of upgrading to the Apple Watch Series 3 or even to the 2, it makes me fear that my issues will still continue with it. So I've been looking at the Samsung Gear 3 Frontier now. Seems cool, has cool features like Samsung Pay and more. Importantly, wouldn't have to disable features in order to receive notifications on both phone and watch. I'm interested in hearing your opinion and your listeners. Anyone else experiencing these issues with Apple Watch? Are these issues fixed on a newer Apple Watch version? Let me know, please. Looking forward for your next podcast. Take care, Luis. So I'm going to throw this one out there. If anyone else has had the same issue and fixed it, give us a call, 206-666-6364. That's 206-MOONDOG. Or shoot an email to todayandios@gmail.com. Back into the email bag. Hello, Rob. About midway through episode 448, a caller gave a short review of his new iPhone 10. He lamented a 5-step process to quit apps, and I think I can save him and you 2 of those steps. Step 1, from the home screen, just force touch at the very bottom of the screen and drag upward. The app switcher will appear in all its glory. Step 2, force touch app and the minus sign will then appear. And step 3, click to dismiss on the minus sign or just swipe upward. Voila, you just saved 2 steps. Keep up the good work. Regards, Paul G. in Lawrenceville. Well, thank you, Paul. Hi, Rob. Since I updated my iPhone 7 Plus to iOS 11, my flights climbed data tracked in the Health app is almost 0, even though I climb stairs over 30 minutes per day. Recently, I found one flight of stairs on which my iPhone consistently tracks a flight climbed. The difference is that this flight has a vertical height of 20 foot 6 inches, while all the other stairs I usually climb have a vertical height of 12 to 16 and a half feet. The vertical height of 20 feet is apparently the magic number. I have found reference in the Apple Tech Support Forum stating that the vertical height for a flight climbed is 10 feet. My result under iOS 11 appears to be that one flight equals 20 vertical feet, with no partial credit for a climb of under 20 feet. Apple did a remote test on my phone to confirm no hardware issues, which points to an iOS bug. Online tech support referenced this as a known issue being addressed in iOS 11.2 beta. Has anyone else experienced this issue, and has anyone running the beta noticed that it's fixed? Regards, name redacted. Well, I have not seen this issue before, and I'm not doing stairs, so I haven't been able to test it. But if anyone out there is doing a run of a beta and is doing stairs on a regular basis and noticed a change and noticed it's working, give us a call or shoot us an email. Back to the email bag. Hi, Rob. Ringtones can now be restored directly from the sounds and haptic settings. Keep doing what you're doing. In the words of Ringo, peace and love. Regards, Craig in Liverpool. And then, hi, Rob. With iOS 11, you can re-download purchased tones that you bought using your Apple ID. Go to Settings, Sound and Haptics, then tap on any sound. At the top of the page, tap Download All Purchased Tones to check for any previously purchased tones not currently downloaded to your device. You might not see this option if you've already re-downloaded your purchased tones or if you haven't purchased any ringtones. Regards, Alf in Sheffield, UK. Well, Craig and Alf, thank you both for your feedback on that.
Hi, Rob. This is Steve from Arizona. I'm calling about my brief experience with the iPhone 10. I'm actually taking a walk on Thanksgiving today, trying to get my Apple Watch badge for walking 3.1 miles. I bought the iPhone 10. I currently have a 7 Plus. Used it for a couple of days and then sent it back, the iPhone 10. Reason being, first, when you upgrade from a Plus, when you look at the phone in landscape, looks smaller because it's narrow. And the other reason, the gestures were fine, Face ID was fine. But the real reason for me was most apps, at least apps I use, which are somewhat idiosyncratic and not popular, I highly doubt are going to be upgraded. So I sent it back. My plan is to get the 10 Plus or whatever it will be next year in the large form factor. When Apple only sells phones like that, every app developer, even the small ones, will end up upgrading, hopefully, because honestly, without the upgraded apps for the 10, when they're like letterboxed, it looks horrible. Maybe if you're upgrading from a 7 to a 10, it works, but from a Plus, I agree with you, it doesn't work, at least not for me. Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving, Rob, and thanks for all you do for the community. Bye-bye.
Steve, thanks for your feedback. Back to the email bag. Hi, Rob. Back in 2000, I was in an accident at the lake. We were going from the boat dock to the house I was buying. Labor Day weekend, I jumped on the back of a golf cart standing up. I fell off and hit my head on the pavement. It put me in a coma for 3 months. I had to learn how to walk and talk again. I'm fine now. I'm deaf in one ear and use Apple Accessibility to play mono music and such to my left ear only. Bob, the caller from the last episode, asked what people that have had brain injuries use for reminders. Well, for my medication, so I don't forget to take it, I made a list of my reminders in my reminders app called Medication Reminders and put take medicine, set alert for a given time of the day. This really helps because the alerts go to my Macs and all my iOS devices, just like when setting up my iPhone 10. It was already there. As far as doctor appointments, etc., I use the Apple Calendar and set alerts for 1 week before, 2 days before, and 1 day before, along with drive time. I feel very fortunate as I have went back to school, received my certification, and I'm working part-time as an IT technician for a concrete company here in Springfield, Mo. It's funny how I work on Windows PCs at work but have Macs at home. Apple has made me a Apple fanboy since the first iPhone in 2007 with the handoff and accessibility options that they bring to the masses. Regards, David D. David, as always, thank you for your feedback and thank you for the answers to the questions. Back to the email bag. Hi, Rob. So I had the iPhone 7 Plus for almost a year and then upgraded after the iPhone 10 came out, but not to the 10. Instead, I upgraded to the 8 Plus. Why, you ask? First, I like the cutting edge, but the iPhone X has too many untested features for a heavy price. Second, I am a Sprint customer, and they made me a great offer. Upgrade to the 8 Plus and save over $10 on my monthly bill. Yep, a whole $10 for a brand new phone. I kept the same LifeProof nude case and enjoy the new phone. Eventually, I will get a case that is more compatible with the wireless charging. I'm looking into the Next by LifeProof, but it's not waterproof, so I have to investigate more. Only disappointment is that I've been 4 days with the new phone and I have no idea what the new features are. This is the first time I've upgraded this smoothly, but yet, why do I feel like it's the same phone? Anyway, it's a safe bet and nothing risky, plus I save money. Sincerely, DJ Mellow G. Well, DJ, thank you for your feedback there. Back to the email bag. Hi, Rob. I haven't called or written in a while. I've been an avid follower of your podcast since the early days. I pre-ordered the iPhone X at 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the release date, 10/27. I accidentally got kicked out of the Apple Store and couldn't get back in, so I ended up buying it from Verizon, and I received it 11 days later. I am thrilled with the 10. There were things I was nervous about that didn't turn out to be an issue at all, and other issues I didn't expect that did pop up. First, Face ID. I love it. I was nervous about using it and losing the fingerprint, but it's so much easier and I believe more responsive. 2, no home button. I thought it would be hard to get used to, but swiping is so much more intuitive than click, click, click. There was practically no learning curve. I've owned every iPhone since the first and find this one as the best by far. Now there are problems, but only 2 that I found. 1, I picked up the no home button swipe thing so fast that I'm having difficulty going back and forth between my iPhone X and my iPad Pro. I want to swipe on both. 2, the button combination for a screenshot, volume up and lock is horrid. I can't tell you how many screenshots I have just taken picking up my phone. At the end of the day, I have to go into the photos and erase all the accidental screenshots. Well, that's it. Bottom line, I love it. Thanks for everything, Trish. Well, thank you, Trish. And I completely feel you on the inadvertent screenshots. I do that all the time. Back to the email bag. Hi, Rob. Per your request to email the show to let listeners know which case they enjoy, I have both the black and product red Apple leather cases. I love those. They just look so elegant. I also love the smell of leather. Love the show. Regards, Oshkosh Josh. Well, thank you, Josh, for that feedback.
Hey, Rob. This is Terry in Fort Worth, Texas. Just calling to say I got my iPhone X silver 256 gig, and I am loving it. I called because you asked for people to talk about cases they purchased. A friend of mine gave me a case called Urban Armor Gear. Really nice case, fits well, it's clear, rubbery, has some good protection on it without being overly so. I'm using it mainly just when I go to the gym, if I go for a run or cycling, things like that. Otherwise, I keep my phone naked. I have Apple Care Plus on my phone, and this is the first time I've had Apple Care Plus in a long time, but having a case on all the time, or even most of the time, substantially lessens my pleasure in using this beautiful device. I do carry it around naked most of the time, and as I have all of my previous iPhones from the 3GS onward, I upgrade every year. And hopefully I won't drop this one, but I do have Apple Care Plus on it just in case, and I've got this really nice case here for when I'm at the gym or doing something a little bit more risky than day-to-day use. Anyway, thanks, Rob. Love the show. Bye.
Terry, thanks for your feedback on the Urban Armor Gear case. Folks, there's one other option there for you for the iPhone X. Back to the email bag. Hi, Rob. When I said Tatto Gate is over, I mean it is over as far as I'm concerned. I have discovered on my Series 3 Apple Watch that because of watchOS 4, I can now use Apple Pay and still get my notifications despite my tattoos. Up until this point, Apple Watch owners like myself with tattoos on the wrist had to make a choice. If you left wrist detection turned on, you would not get all of your notifications because the watch would keep locking. Or you could get all your notifications by turning off wrist detection so that it wouldn't lock, but this removed your card from Apple Pay. This was always very disappointing to me because Apple Pay was one of my favorite features of the Apple Watch. I hope you will find this information useful and worthy to share with your audience. I'm sure there are many others with tattoos like me that own Apple Watches and would love the option to be able to use Apple Pay, or maybe there are people out there with tattoos who haven't bought the watch yet because they knew it was a problem. Hopefully this helps. Regards, driver Chris Mack. Well, Chris, thank you for sending that in. And folks, you can find a link to Chris's blog post in the show notes for episode 449. Just look for the one that's titled Tatto Gate is Over. Devs, be warned, it's that time of the year again where Apple employees sell their stock and abandon all of us. Yep, Apple will shut down iTunes Connect from December 23rd to December 27th. This is right in line with past year shutdowns. While iTunes Connect is closed, Apple will not accept any new apps or app updates. This also means any price changes need to be done prior to December 23rd if you want to have something new or special pricing in place for Christmas. Thanks once again to Texture for sponsoring our show. As I said before, Texture is essentially the Netflix of magazines. You get access to over 200 of the top magazines. And here's what's really important in the current environment. These are real news publications, no fake news from either the right or the left, or people claiming Apple is deliberately slowing down older iOS devices, or whatever other bad news they want to send out there. We are talking real credible news magazines like Time, The New Yorker, Macworld, Popular Science, and many others. You know, the type that still believe in 2 verified sources before reporting something. But you only need one app and service to get all these great magazines, and that is Texture. And Texture really helps me keep track of the podcasting marketplace and the smartphone industry. That is the beauty of Texture. You get access to over 200 top magazines covering every niche with your subscription. And Texture has gone beyond delivering just the magazine itself. They made it easy to find and enjoy articles you want to read, with daily recommendations, exclusive interactive features, videos, and more. Texture is normally $9.99 a month, and you get over 200 magazines, but if you sign up right now at texture.com/TII, you'll get a 14-day free trial. The magazines look great on your iPhone and iPad, and that means you have access to all the magazines anytime, anywhere. And here's what I really like. You can search for a topic across all the magazines. Search for podcasts and sort by newest, and I can keep up to date on my day job. Why on earth would you subscribe to just a couple of magazines when you could have all of the best ones on your smartphone or tablet all the time for way less? Sign up for Texture right now and gain insider access to all the content from the world's best publications, and no trees were killed bringing you these great publications. It's all just bits, man. Once again, go to Texture, Texture, texture.com/TII to get your free 14-day trial. Get real news from real news sources.
Hey, Rob, Gunnar from Chicago. Hey, as we're getting ready for the Apple event today, it reminded me of something that a suggestion I've had for a while. I love the TII app, and I love the notifications that you push out, but probably over a year ago, I turned that off because I don't get to watch the Apple announcements live, the keynotes live. A lot of times I'll have to wait till that night to watch them, so I don't like to be spoiled. So I was wondering, just a suggestion, if there's any way that you could maybe put a toggle on the TII app so when there's, so you can choose if you want all push notifications or, you know, like a spoiler-free push notification as far as Apple events. I don't know, just a suggestion. Thanks for everything you do.
Gunnar, that's one I'm probably going to have to hold back sending off to the devs to request. I think we'll just leave the notifications come in, and if you don't want notifications around Apple events, it's special events you're going to be watching, you can always just go in and quickly turn them off. There's a toggle in the app to turn off notifications already. and then you just have to turn it back on later on. Back into the email bag. Hi, Rob. I travel a lot and wonder if the micro SIM in the Apple Watch 3 is linked to the SIM in my phone or linked to the provider. In the first case, the watch will work if I change the SIM in my phone. Regards, Juiced in Singapore. Well, Juiced, I believe it's basically a universal SIM, and it then pairs to your phone number, but you can unpair it and then repair it to another phone. So it should work fine taking it from one phone on one provider to then resetting it up and having it go with another provider. This is something you probably want to consult your local providers, the one you're leaving and the one you're going to. Back to email bag. Hi, Rob. I have a question regarding commenting within your app. How do we make a comment within the app without logging into Facebook? I don't believe you ever mentioned that. Thank you for your time. Regards, Bruce in Maribel, Quebec. And Bruce, the short answer is you can't. You need to log in through Facebook to leave comments in the app. In the comments, that was the way we did it for validation. So it is what it is at this point in time, at least. And that is you do need to have a Facebook account when you leave a comment in the TII app or any of the other apps we make like that for other producers. Another email. Hi, Rob. I wonder if you know the answer to this. While looking around the Apple Store app, I see Apple still has the smart battery case for the 6 series and the 7, however, none for the 8. I wonder if the model for the 7 would work on the 8. Might lose wireless charging, but not a big problem. Separately, am I the only person who finds it interesting that 2 years ago Apple introduced the 4th generation Apple TV with 32 gig storage for $149? 2 years later, with a new version that having been released, the 4th gen Apple TV with 32 gig storage is $149. Not much of an excuse to say that the latest one starts at $179. Something 2 years old should be cheaper now. Regards, Kevin Barry. Kevin, thanks for the email. And I'll throw this one out to the audience. If anyone has a 6 series or 7 series where they had the charging battery case from Apple, the official one, the one that has a little bump on the back. If you have that and you moved up to the iPhone 8, does the case still work for you? Does it fit? So let us know if the case for the iPhone 7 or 6 battery case, if that works with the iPhone 8. Give us a call, 206-666-6364. That's 206-MOONDOG, or shoot an email to todayandios@gmail.com. Hi, Rob. I have a problem with the calendar app. Whenever I'm adding an event and I go into the location field, as soon as I start typing, the keyboard freezes up for anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds as I continue to type. After the freeze is over, everything that I had typed finally shows up and I can select the full address from suggestions below. This has been going on for several months. I have done a complete reset and tried both beta and non-beta versions of iOS 11. I get the impression that it is trying to get the location suggestions from iCloud instead of looking at my contacts on my phone. Any suggestions on how to fix this would be greatly appreciated. Best regards, Luis Padilla. Well, Luis, I haven't had that happen. I tried it and I couldn't get it to do that for me on multiple devices. If anyone out there has had this issue and knows what the fix is, give us a call or shoot us an email. Hi, Rob. Quick question. I just purchased the new Series 3 Apple Watch in the 42 millimeter size. I was reading the specs on battery life. It claims it will only last 18 hours if I do not use LTE, which I do not plan on using. Do you think I will get significantly more battery life? I also plan on using the GPS. Don't plan on using GPS either. Thank you in advance, and any input will be greatly appreciated. Regards, Jeremy Schofield. Well, Jeremy, let me just say this. The Apple Watch Series 3, as you've already probably learned, the battery life is phenomenal. Again, I've got the Series 3 with cellular, and I'm using the LTE, and I'm using all of the features, and I'm going 3 full work days between charges. So I can get up in the morning on Monday, use it Tuesday, use it Wednesday, and not have to put it back on the charger until Wednesday night. Then use it Thursday and Friday, and then not have to put it on a charger again until sometime during the weekend. So For me at least, the battery life is phenomenal. Just absolutely blows away the original Apple Watch and the Series 2 Apple Watch.
Hi, Rob. This is Kim from Salem, Oregon. I just wanted to let everyone know about a scam that's going around. It's really weird. Anyone gets an email from Apple that says your security questions have been changed, and it says, "Dear customer," that is not from Apple, because Apple uses your name, and they're based in Cupertino, California, not in Luxembourg, Germany, which is where this scam is originating from. I just wanted to let everyone know that. And anyone gets an email about their gift card has been charged X amount for something, that's a scam as well, because you do your gift cards yourself. They just don't automatically get charged some random amount to some random person. No way. But I called Apple about this. They know. So I just wanted to let everybody who listens to Today in iOS know that do not fall for it. Delete the emails immediately. Anyway, love your show. Talk to you later. Bye. Hi, Rob. It's Kim from Salem, Oregon again. One more thing about that scam. It will say in the email, Apple II. Actually, it will say APPII. So that's another way to know that it's fake. They're not even spelling Apple right. So I'd let everyone know. I'll talk to you later, Rob. Bye.
Kim, thank you for the heads up on that. Hi, Rob. I'm George, an Austrian stranded in Mexico. Life's a beach. I have a question for today in iOS or the listener base concerning the HomePod and compatibility with Apple TV. It can be assumed that Apple TV 4th Gen will work like a charm with HomePod, but I have a 3rd and 2nd Gen Apple TVs, and they lack Bluetooth audio capability, keyboard only. I was wondering if Apple will push a compatibility update to the older Gen Apple TVs to facilitate Bluetooth audio connection with the HomePod, or besides paying a higher price for 2 stereo HomePods, I'll also have to replace my Apple TVs. Just wondering, together with my new iPhone 8, this Christmas can become costly. Cheers, George Ross Caswet. Well, George, sorry, really messed your last name up there. You don't have to worry about the Christmas thing, as we mentioned last episode. The HomePods aren't coming out this year. They'll be here next year. Per them, or per Apple pushing out a update for the 3rd or 2nd Gen Apple TVs? No. That's not going to happen. So it's going to most likely only be compatible with the current and 4th Gen versions, basically the ones where you can install an app on it. So that's really probably the only ones you're going to see that the HomePod will work with. I don't see them pushing any updates out to older gen devices. They just want you to go buy a newer gen device. So I don't see that happening anytime soon. Dear Rob, I know you told us how to get rid of the number in the app on the home screen. I can't remember which episode, nor can I search and find that solution. Do you have a new list of tips that might be on, or could you just remind me? Thanks so much. My TI app shows I have four, but I don't know what the 3 of those are. Regards, Beth in Austin. And Beth is talking about the little round red circle that's on the TI app if you haven't listened to all the episodes, and how do you clear that out? Well, Beth, in the TI app, in the episode list view, tap on the hamburger menu icon in the upper left. Then tap on settings, then tap on mark episodes. Then, since you are not sure which episodes are causing the number to appear, for start date, go back to 2007, and for the end date, select some year in the future, then click apply. That will clear out all the episodes causing the number to appear on the icon, and it will only appear now on new episodes you have not listened to or watched or read, depending on what the post was. Hope that helps, and thanks for downloading the TI app and listening to the show.
Hey Rob, you mentioned that the Apple event opened with a song called Love Is All You Need. Actually, the name of that song was All You Need Is Love, but, I wouldn't worry about getting that wrong. The Beatles are kind of an obscure band.
Good morning, Rob. This is Joe from New York. I'm wondering if you could put it out to the listeners. I have an iPhone 10, and I noticed that the SIM tray on the left side, if I'm looking at the phone with the side button on the right and the SIM tray on the left with the screen up, the left side of my SIM tray does not seat flush. I've taken it in and out numerous times, and actually have even had Apple send me a new SIM tray, and the left side of it, with the side where the hole is that you push the pin in, does not sit flush. You run your finger and your nail over it, it stops on the end of the metal, whereas the right side it is flush. I hope it does not affect the legitimacy of the water resistance, but I'm wondering if anybody else has this. I've seen some stuff online. I wanted to get your opinion, see if yours has it, or what the deal is. Obviously, the new SIM tray didn't correct the issue. I don't know if there is an issue internally in the SIM tray with my phone, but please look up if you can. Thank you.
Joe, sorry to say, that is not something I'm seeing with mine. Mine is perfectly flush. I can run my finger over it. The only thing I feel is the hole where you stick the pin in to pop the SIM tray. But it is completely flush on my device. It looks great. So sorry. Unfortunately, it sounds like it's something to yours. Now, I don't know if you look inside where you're pushing the SIM tray into, is there a piece of material or something in there that's causing it to not be able to be pushed all the way in? So it sounds like what you might have is an issue, since it's multiple SIM trays. You might have an issue that inside the notch or the hole, that there's something in there that's causing the SIM tray not to be able to be pushed all the way in. So I would look around the edges and maybe a little pair of tweezers and see if there's anything around the edges that an extra piece of material or metal or something that's causing your SIM tray to not to be pushed in. But for me, it's perfectly flush. Hi, Rob. I just sold my iPhone 5S to get the iPhone 6 Plus. I did not upgrade to the iPhone 6S or 7 or 8, since now the iPhone 6 Plus is cheaper. I am curious, how long will the iPhone 6 Plus be supported from Apple? Will it last until iOS 12 or 13? Let me know. Sincerely, Zach Cloutier Stubbs. Well, Zach, we know that the iPhone 5S is going along with iOS 11. More than likely, the 5S will be sunset and will not update to iOS 12, which means iOS 12 is likely the last version of iOS that the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus will be supported to. Possible to go to iOS 13, but I don't see it going anything past 13, and more than likely iOS 12 will be the last version of iOS that you can update the 6 and the 6 Plus to.
Hey, Rob Gunner from Chicago here, talking to you on my brand new Apple CarPlay system. I do have a question. I don't know if you know this, but how do they get the apps in Apple CarPlay? Is it just something where Apple decides these apps were deeming acceptable for Apple CarPlay? Like, how do you get the Tii app into CarPlay? Is that even possible? I mean, I don't know if that's something you could look into, or if it's just something where Apple decides. So I'm going to get back to playing with my new system. Thanks, Rob. Love you and everything you do, my friend. Bye-bye.
Well, Gunnar, you can add their apps there to your CarPlay. What you do is open up settings on your iPhone, tap General, tap CarPlay, and then tap your car's name. Then tap on the plus symbol on the app you want to add from the white field under your CarPlay app and setup, and that is how you're going to be able to add apps to CarPlay on your car. So this is something that you can go ahead and pick which apps you want to go ahead and get on CarPlay. We don't talk much about jailbreaking anymore these days, and that's probably because there's not much to talk about. And when we do, it doesn't often wind up being good news for jailbreaking. And that's what this case is here. 2 of the 3 biggest repositories for jailbreaking apps have been closed down in the last month, and one of them just closed down last week, which means right now only the big boss repository of the big 3 is remaining. ModMy was closed down, and Mac City also was closed down. So not good for Cydia and the jailbreak world. And it's hard really to justify it anymore. Even Jay Freeman, one of the creators of Cydia, or the creator of Cydia, even he said, what do you get in the end? What is it that you would get? What's the killer feature that you get from jailbreaking today that's not already available in iOS? Yeah, there's some tweaks and things like that, but it's really hard to justify jailbreaking these days. We didn't talk about it much recently because, one, there hasn't been a good, what I call native out the door jailbreak for iOS for a while. It takes many, many more months to jailbreak. And oftentimes by the time the jailbreak is available, it's not the current version. If you went in and bought a phone off, from Apple today and brought it home, you're not going to be able to jailbreak it. So that's probably a good reason why 2 of the 3 big repositories for jailbreak apps have closed down, and leaving just a Big Boss repository is the only major one standing. Will that one close down? Who knows? Probably not, but we just don't have much we can talk about on jailbreaking anymore these days. I used to really enjoy talking about it. It was fun. I just can't justify it anymore. And as you know, I haven't recommended jailbreaking for a while now. Thanks to all that sent in articles about the 2 repositories closing down. And again, this is not good news for the jailbreaking, but there really hasn't been good news for the jailbreaking community for quite some time. Why do we exist?
I don't know, but I'm glad you do.
Why do we exist?
To be or not to be? That is the question.
Why do we exist?
Well, that chocolate isn't going to eat itself.
Why do we exist?
To have conversations like these.
Why do we exist?
To keep Siri company. Siri likes company.
Why do we exist?
To help others. At least that's why I exist.
Why do we exist?
To ask questions like these.
Thanks again to Texture for sponsoring this episode. Folks, go right now to texture.com/TII to get your free 14-day trial with access to well over 200 of the best and most popular magazines. And before we go today, I want to remind you to send in your feedback to the show. 206-666-6364. That's 206-Moondog. Or record your feedback and email it to the show at todayios@gmail.com. Feedback can be a question or comment for something someone said on this episode, or it can be a question or rant you have about something else, an app, a product review, good or bad. As long as it is iOS related, it is welcomed. I'm always looking for new artwork to feature that you created on an iOS device. Just put some TII branding on it and send it in. And of course, we're always looking for more music created on an iOS device to play on the show. It's your show, and your feedback is greatly desired. Don't forget to check out our moderated Google Plus community by going to todayinios.com/community. A quick reminder also, if you are an app developer or an iBook author, email me if you want your app or iBook featured in the promo giveaway segment for free. We just need the 5 promo codes or more to give away. Simply email me at todayinios@gmail.com, and please include a 60-second or less audio review of your app or iBook indicating you are the dev or the author. Also, when you send in the promo codes, please make sure to let me know when they expire. Today's show was again brought to you by Eero, which is by far the fastest and best Wi-Fi I have ever tested. If you go to eero.com and enter promo code TII, you will get free overnight shipping to the US and Canada. Again, go to eero.com and at checkout, select overnight shipping and then enter promo code TII to make it free. And finally, check out the TII app, which is free to you. Search for TII in the iTunes App Store. It is the best way to consume the show and to get push notifications each time a new episode of TII is released. It is fully voiceover friendly, of course. Please go right now and download the TII app or get the update. Until the next time, I am your host, Rob, reminding you to phone different. This show is hosted on Libsyn.com and part of the Wizard Media Network. If you are looking for hosting, go to Libsyn.com. That's Libsyn.com for hosting for your podcast and for creation of your own smartphone app. The Today in iOS podcast can also be found on the free Stitcher radio app. Just search for TII.